Morning. I'm a bit late with the podcast today. I was on the drink. I have a bit of a headache as well. I never have a headache. I must be coming under pressure from people trying to control me. Uh, because stress is the cause of an awful lot of conditions and pain. And people don't realize this, that it affects your vibration, and people give you all sorts of spiel and medical bullshit. But let me tell you, everything is energy, everything vibrates, and if your vibration is low, you are going to suffer. I put it to you like that. But I can give it to you from a physical thing. Stress manipulates your gene expression in a shocking way. It manipulates your gene expression. It turns genes on and off, especially genes for genetic conditions like cancer, asthma, uh, diabetes. Stress impacts on your gene expression in a big way and turns on and off genetic genes that cause genetic conditions such as the ones I've just mentioned. So we'll start with that. Now the next thing I wanted to say was that whereas I agree with Plato that about the form of the good, and basically, seeing everything everything is mind is the form of the good, but that's a little bit advanced. But so Plato basically wanted to overlook the Homeric hero and if you like, overcome man, and by surpassing the Homeric hero and moving past the dialectic, being able to talk and reason. So for example, if two people had a difference, they reason it out. There's no need to go to war. Now that's all grand, but when you think about that, that is the form of the good. But the worst thing, so I speak for myself, is too good. I have absolutely no interest in being too good. I'd rather be more Dionysus than Apollo. It's in my nature to be a warmonger. And I like this nature, and I don't really want to change this nature, and I enjoy living according to my nature. So basically, I don't want to be too good. I'd rather maintain a balance between the Homeric hero, which would be Achilles, and Apollo, or Dionysus and Apollo. Even I keep a balance between them, but I've absolutely no interest in being more one side or the other. I'd like to sit right on the dividing line. Now, that's living according to my nature, but you first of all have to understand your nature before you can live according to your nature. And then you have the likes of Plato coming along telling you how good you should be and how to move up and everything else. And I say, hey, I'll tell you what you do. Do you know what I mean? These are the preachers. And as Brewski said, beware the preachers. Beware the preachers. Because they're very much taking you on side for their own agenda, and to like Plato was a snob and was gentry. So it's like the boys in the monasteries. Like the boys in the monastery, they're sitting in their monastery and they're doing their prayers and they're writing their scrolls and they're writing their scripts and they're telling everybody that they should be like them. And next thing the Vikings come and just kick their ass, wipe them out. But there's a reason for this. This is dialectics. Dialectics is not just talk, as Plato says, and as Plato would like it to be and wants it to be, as the form of the good. No. Dialectics is also the Vikings coming to the monasteries, or the Vikings, or say England coming to Ireland, or it's imperialism, and we have it here in Bulgaria as well. We have American imperialism, and this is for a reason. It is for a reason, because you have to learn to control what's yours to control. Or people like me. Now, I have no desires and aversions. But if I had desires and aversions, I would just come along and take your shit. But I don't have any desires and aversions, so I'm not looking to take anything from anybody. But at the same time, I'd like people to afford me the same courtesy. But I have to continuously mitigate people trying to take the only thing I have. Freedom. They just keep trying to take the only fucking thing I have. Freedom. And it's the only thing I value. It's my highest value. And the only thing I value, but they just keep trying to take the fucking thing. And I have to keep mitigating it. It's a full-time job staying free nearly. But anyway. So the form of the good would those that believe themselves to be, they have Kant's moral philosophy, and this is the categorical imperative, and I can see where Kant is coming from, even though I don't apply the categorical imperative I do apply the categorical imperative, just not like him, and because everything comes from one source. And also, like Kant said, don't engage in any action that cannot become a universal maxim. In other words, if everybody can't do it, don't do it. It's not the right thing to do. So basically, like, if everybody can't go and take some paper, say from the photocopy machine, if everybody can't take some paper to write on, don't you take any paper. If everybody can't do it, if it's not right for everybody to do, then don't do it. But I say about this, no, that's complete wank, because that's not conducive to the evolutionary process. So I wrote a thing. The first thing I did as a philosopher was write a rebuttal to this. I said a man has a right to anything he can take and hold by whatever means necessary, even if he has to form alliances to do so. And then the other side of that is a man has to control what's his to control, by whatever means necessary, even if he has to form alliances to do so. Now, this is conducive to the evolutionary process, because everybody has to stay on their toes and not complacent about what's theirs, with just imposing their morality on people. Oh, it would be the wrong thing to do to take my business, my time, my freedom. This would be the wrong thing to do. Tell you what you do with your wrong thing. Shove it up your... Do you know what I mean? Because, as I say, I have no desires and aversions, but people like me do have desires and aversions. Warmongers do have desires and aversions, and they will come and take your shit. Now, at the moment, I have my hands full. I'm just trying to push back against American imperialism. But I have my own way of doing this. As I say, the directive from my mother was, if you can't see the forest for the trees, burn it all down and bring the ashes to me. But I can separate the wheat from the chaff. And that's what I'm doing. I don't need to burn everything down. If I had to, I would. But anyway, yes. So we're focusing on what's ours to control. Now, the most important thing we have, and the most precious thing we have, is our fucking time. That's the most precious thing we have. Our time, aka our freedom. But this is one and the same. Your time, your freedom. But you're not getting any more of it. You can't have it back. You can't buy more of it. You don't even know how much you're getting. You're not entitled to another minute. You're not entitled to another second. So you want to be really conscious of how you're spending it. For all sorts of ways. As Seneca said, spend your time becoming timeless. But we can talk about that again in another podcast. But that is the best way to spend your time, becoming timeless. So basically, those of you with no soul really should be focusing on building one. But, well, again, we'll talk about that in another podcast. But let's talk about controlling your time. People like me who do have desires and aversions, the first thing we do is we try to buy time, because time is the most precious thing people have. So you try to enslave people. You try to control their energy, because everything is energy. And it's all about controlling energy. So money is energy. People are energy. This is all energy. And it's about controlling these energies and harness them, as I tried to do to Mr. Nature before. I tried to yoke him up to my chariot, and I said, now, wild horse, you're going to pull my chariot. I don't know if you remember that podcast, but they said, now, wild horse, you're going to pull my chariot. Now, people will do this. Now, I stopped doing this to him because nature turned it back on me. It mitigated this move. He didn't, nature did. And I said, oh, you know what I mean? Back up there. I'll unharness him, which I did. Now, I have no desires and aversions. So I'm not looking to harness anyone to my chariot. We can work together. If you choose to come and work with me, and we do things together, this is a choice of how you wish to spend your time. But I most certainly won't come and try and take it. Now, nothing, as I say, will enslave you faster than desires and aversions. So, for example, like your fear will take your time. For example, the state will control you by fear. The state will control you by climate change. The state will control you by uh, security issues, COVID, all this bullshit, the fear of death, the fear of poverty, the fear of this, the fear of that. The state will uses fear, really uses fear, and others as well, because the state is just a collective, a multiplication of the individual. But the state will control you using fear, and others will control you using fear. Even if somebody like is saying to you, know that you owe them money, and you'll never get a loan again, you never get another, you'll never be able to buy a phone, you'll never be able to car, you'll never be able to house again. That's fear. That's fear, and they're controlling you using fear. We'll take you to court for this money. We'll do this. We'll do that. That's fear. That's all fear. So these are all aversions, and you have to learn to. If you want to be free, you have to learn to have no aversions and no desires, because nothing will enslave you faster than desires. Now, for example, like if you desire a house, you go down to the bank and get a big stupid mortgage. Now they own you. They own you. Or as I used to say, if you get a new job and next thing they see you driving in a car, a brand new fucking BMW or some bullshit like that, they own you. They own you. They'll say, oh, we have this cunt. Because you have to pay for this fucking thing for 5 years and you need a means to pay for it. In other words, you're not going anywhere. They own you. And this is why nothing enslaves you faster than desires and aversions. Now, yes, I was going to say something else in that regard as well. Now, not only do you control, then after you control what's given to you, what's yours, your time, yourself. Control yourself, or other people will try to control you. Now, you have to constantly mitigate this. You have to constantly mitigate this, because this is, as I said, the first part of what I said, that if you don't control what's yours to control, other people will try and take it from you. Now, this is what's conducive to the evolutionary process, because it means you have to stay sharp and you have to keep evolving and you have to stay mitigating this, and this is what keeps people moving forward. As I said, I have a pain in my head from people trying to control me all day yesterday, but I have to stay sharp. I can't become complacent. I have to, life is like chess. I have to move and mitigate this. But at the same time, I have to mitigate a larger game as well, because we have Americans coming in here trying to take over this country. And as a country, they have to learn to control what's theirs to control. Control yourself, your time, your business, your country. Your fucking country, or people will come and fucking take it off you if you're asleep at the wheel, or they're giving you shit like money. The EU has done this, giving people money and just taking your freedom, your culture, your liberties, everything. They take everything from you. Do you understand? You have to wake up and smell the coffee and see what's going on in relation to yourself and everything else that's given to you to control, starting with yourself and your time. Yeah, right, I think that's enough for this morning. Bye.